Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the biggest challenge we face isn't climate change or economic collapse or any single crisis, but the completely broken way we're trying to solve all of them? Today, we're looking at a huge shift in thinking, moving away from all these scattered efforts towards something coherent.
Right, so we're always hearing about all these different crises happening at once. But here's the thing. They're not separate issues. They're all part of what's now being called a polycrisis. And that just means it's a massive, tangled web where every problem meets the other's worse. Think about it. A climate-driven drought leads to a food shortage, which is an economic crisis, which then sparks social unrest. It's a domino effect, a vicious cycle. And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the matter. All of our best intentions, all the money we're throwing at these problems, it's not working. Why? Because fragmented action just doesn't work anymore. We're trying to fix a deeply interconnected web with completely disconnected solutions. Okay, so let's dig into this. A world of crises. Why are we so stuck? With all of our incredible technology and human ingenuity, why does it feel like we're just spinning our wheels? You see, this isn't just a climate crisis. It's everything, all wrapped up together. Ecological, economic, social, political. You just can't solve one piece of this giant puzzle in isolation. Trying to fix the economy while you let the ecosystem burn is, well, it's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. It completely misses the point. So this brings us to a really powerful realization. The root cause, the real problem, isn't a lack of effort. It's not a lack of good people trying to do good things. It's a fundamental failure of coordination. I mean, think about it. We've been seriously trying to tackle climate change for, 40 years? And let's be honest, the progress has been painfully slow. And it's because our efforts are completely fragmented. Everyone's stuck in their own silo. Governments over here, NGOs over there, companies doing their own thing. They're all competing for the same pot of money. They're all using different ways to measure success. And the result? We get wasted resources, duplicated work, and sometimes projects that literally cancel each other out. And here's the real kicker. The systems we rely on, our governments, our economic models, all our institutions, they were built for a totally different era. A simpler world that was way less interconnected. They were designed to manage a single country, not a whole planet. They're just not built for the kinds of global systemic problems we're facing now. So, if fragmentation is the disease, what on earth is the cure? Well, it's about building the connective tissue that we're so obviously missing. It's about weaving a whole new web. This question really flips the whole script. I mean, what if we actually have all the energy, all the innovation, all the money we need, but it's just flowing through a fundamentally broken system? What if the problem isn't our willpower, but our architecture? What's missing is a shared infrastructure, a common ground where we can all align, make sense of this crazy complexity, and actually coordinate at a global scale. The best analogy is really a planetary nervous system, a system that can connect all the separate cells, all our different efforts, so the entire body can finally feel, think, and act as one coherent whole. Okay, so what does this architecture for a collaboration actually look like? Well, this brings us to the proposed solution, Phoenix and the Synergy Engine. First, you have the Phoenix platform. The easiest way to think of this is as the operating system for the planet. It's the digital infrastructure, the technological backbone that everything else can run on. It's this shared space where we can finally integrate all the critical data, AI tools, and our collective knowledge. And then, running on top of that Phoenix operating system, you have the Synergy Engine. So if Phoenix is the OS, the Synergy Engine is like the suite of smart apps. It's the intelligence layer that takes all that data and knowledge and actually turns it into coordinated real-world action. It helps people and organizations find each other, line up their goals, and finally, work together. So let's just make that super clear. The Phoenix platform is the infrastructure. It's the how this all works. It's the digital nervous system. The Synergy Engine, on the other hand, is the intelligence. It's the who and the what. It's what aligns the right people with the right resources to get things done. You absolutely have to have both. It's the hardware and the software for a brand new collaborative world. All right, so that's all of the theory. But what does a world with this kind of system actually look like? Let's try to paint a picture of this vision in action. Now, this is really important. This is not about creating some giant, centralized, top-down power structure. It is the exact opposite. The vision is to actually distribute power, to strengthen local communities, but connect them into a global network so they can share what they're learning and give each other mutual support. For centuries, we've basically been building competitive boxes. Siloed companies, siloed nations, siloed industries, all fighting over the same resources. This system is designed to help us shift away from that model to one of symbiosis, where we finally see ourselves not as separate from nature, but as a vital part of a single, living system that can only thrive when all its parts are healthy.
And this really is the ultimate goal, to give humanity the tools to finally act as a coherent species, to move beyond all the short-term, self-interested competition and start acting from a shared purpose, to make sure that all future generations can flourish on a healthy, thriving planet. So this leaves us with one final, very powerful question. The framework, the architecture to overcome this global fragmentation is being designed right now. But a tool is only as good as our will to actually use it. So the real question isn't whether it's possible anymore. The real question is, are we ready to stop just talking about a better future and start building it together?